September 13th, 2025. There's a lot going on out in the world right now. A lot going on in my world too. In my world this morning, I'm walking surrounded by, obviously, this incredible beauty and having a cool experience, but also walking around a little bit, just a tiny little bit with a broken heart. Just a little broken because I'm injured right now. I've got a couple of overuse injuries, one on my foot, one on my hip, and I can't run. I've taken a month off from running. I'm gonna take at least another month off. And this morning, just a couple hours ago, the Pine to Palm 100 started, which ends here in Ashland. And I've been dreaming about that run for a long time now, and it's the last time they're ever going to hold that event. The weather's beautiful and I can't do it, and it's really kind of sad to me. So I'm not loving it. I know that we do have to accept our limitations sometimes, and I'm doing that. But if I don't know, what is those stages of grief or whatever, if there's a stage of like resigned, reluctant acceptance and kind of punchy, I'm gonna figure this shit out, that's the stage I'm at right now. So and as such, I've been thinking about like what I can control in the situation, and that really is like, you know, mindset and how to approach taking time off from the thing that I love, and hopefully coming out better on the other end. And I ran into this concept the other day of like metamorphosis goo, and like the goo phase of metamorphosis. So and it totally like resonated with me. And so it's kind of like this. So when a caterpillar is gonna undergo metamorphosis, like, it's a fascinating process. It creates a shell out of its own skin to protect it. You know, there has to be enough, you know, gas exchange for it to breathe and all that stuff, but it like protects it from the outside. And then it goes dormant and it turns into a goo. So it like secretes these digestive enzymes that break its body down, and it turns into like a jelly. And I kind of thought that that's like what it was. So it's like if you crack open a chrysalis, then it's like all gooey inside, and then like somehow magic happens and a butterfly comes out. And of course it's like more complicated and fascinating than that. So definitely not an expert in this. I'll probably get a bunch of details wrong, but essentially the goo, the digested caterpillar, definitely does form, but within that are certain structures that don't get digested. So there's some sort of protective mechanism to like conserve those cells, and they're like the parts of the digestive system, the nervous system, the respiratory system, and they grow and develop, but they don't completely dissolve. And but the rest of the caterpillar does break down into this jelly, and I would assume there's like some more structure in there, but like essentially it's like a protein rich, maybe like a fat rich fuel source for the caterpillar to consume as it undergoes its metamorphosis. And then within that goo are these things called imaginal discs, which are these like disc shaped clumps of cells that develop into certain structures in the butterfly. And in some species of caterpillar, the imaginal cells are there on the caterpillar stage, and sometimes they just develop within the chrysalis. But they start off as these like small clusters of cells, like 40 or 50 cells, and then during the metamorphosis they proliferate into like tens of thousands of cells, and they become things like eyes, I think, and wings and legs. Again, I might have some details wrong, but they become parts of the butterfly that we associate with butterflies, right? Especially the wings. And that the name of them was really weird like imaginal cells. Like, what does that even mean? That sounds weird. So I looked that up, and it comes from the Greek word imago or imago. I don't even know how to say that. And I don't know, maybe you say imago, I say imago. I don't even know. But anyway, it means like adult, like the adult version of something. And so these are the cells that turn into the adult structures, the imaginal cells. And which also sounds like the word imagination. And because I'm like kind of going through this time where I'm sitting back and evaluating like how I want to approach like physical recovery and whatnot, I kind of just decided that like I'm gonna just have a metamorphosis. Like I'm just gonna do one. Like a caterpillar, I don't know if they're like aware. They're probably not like, all right, it's time, let's do this. But for me, it's like, I've got a couple months, let's do this. And so I feel like I'm in the goo phase, and like things are like not super defined like they were a couple months ago when I had something to like really revolve my life around. And I want to use, like, no pun intended, like my imagination to figure out what those clusters of cells are going to turn into. Like, what are the things I want to do now that will make me into like a better version of myself in a month or 2 months or 4 months or 6 months or a year or however long it takes to get over these injuries, or not to get over them, to, I don't know, move past them or grow from them. How about grow from them? And so I think there are some things that I've been wanting. One is like, I feel like I need to learn how to sleep again. That's a problem. I'd like to learn how to meditate and calm down a little bit so I can like just spend more time in the deep waters of my consciousness, not just the choppy surface waters. I want to really focus on bringing like a high level of excellence to my work, and continue like cultivating connections to friends and family and whatnot. And I want to take steps to like be a better runner, to be stronger, to figure out like more about fatigue and nutrition and hydration and electrolytes and all that. And so I don't know, maybe it's a little contrived to like call your metamorphosis, but I'm doing it anyway, and I think it's going to be awesome. It's like this morning I'm walking the Mount Ashland hill climb, which is because I can hike, I can totally hike, and this is a half marathon distance with a 1 mile elevation gain. And I've done this event as a runner several times, but I'm doing this just on my own today, and it scratches that itch. So it's nice to get out and do something. Then I'm gonna bike down. So it's like another way to do a marathon: hike up, bike down. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and maybe there's something worth listening to in there for my legions of fans all throughout the world. Peace out.